All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the January 5th, 2026 workshop of the Board of County Commissioners. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing on our agenda today is we have a discussion with Magellan Strategies and as it's related to the potential sales tax ballot measure. David Flaherty, Jack Cutter, good morning, guys, and then also Courtney Sievers. So with that, David, I'll turn it over to you and I'll let you guys take it away.
Well, I appreciate. Sorry, you guys. I have a little bit of an echo going. Sorry. No, good morning. Good to see you all and so forth. Again, as we spoke at the CCI meeting in December, and from knowing our past work with, Corey, you all right? You got a look on your face like.
Yeah, you've just got a really bad echo, but so do I.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
I mean, I have it too, so I'm not really sure if it's.
Yeah, I hear it. Do I have it?
No.
Test. Is that better? Okay. Sorry about that. No, good morning, commissioners and everybody. No, we appreciate the time this morning to talk about, initial steps and helping the county think through revenue needs and potential ballot measures for 2026. I just wanted to, start here that, we assumed this call was going to be a work session and this meeting was to kind of discuss in general what you're thinking and where you wanted to go. We don't have a presentation of any kind presented today. And if there was some miscommunication there, Commissioner Candelaria and Travis, my apologies. But, I assumed this meeting today, we were just going to begin to discuss what the needs are of the county, and then we would come back with a proposal to meet your needs that can be discussed by everybody moving forward. So am I off base here on that, or I just want to make sure that's...
No, you're not. Not at all. That's kind of what we were thinking. So I think more the confusion for us, and I think we expressed this up there in Denver, was the confusion of the expenditures of what we could do as far as a question or for education. I think that was the biggest confusion, and it sounds like education is one piece and ballot measures are something totally different, which we learned a lot up there, specifically I think with Mr. Cutter as I was talking to you. But I think that's where I think you're right on track, David. So we'll go from there. Travis, do you have anything to add?
Sure. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think, again, we're all on the same page. This is just a preliminary discussion and trying to do some education and possible next steps.
Sure. Well, one thing, obviously, that counties are now allowed to do is to be able to ask an increase in a lodging tax in unincorporated areas of a county. And I did not have those discussions with you at all, but last year several counties attempted that going down the road. Now, granted, Eagle's a very popular one that was known. But then also being able to use those lodging tax dollars and freeing up those dollars to be used for other reasons than marketing, because for a long time that was the law. But now, a lot of counties have been granted, wiggle room, if you will, not from state legislation, but that many of them are using it for other purposes. Now, I'm not an attorney and I'm not going to walk through that today. But all I'm saying is as you look at potential revenue streams for the county, we know in the past, you've gone for, efforts, that basically would put money into the general fund. You know what I mean? And as you know, and we're very familiar with your community, and any tax increases for that matter, general fund is just a tough sell for voters. They really prefer things to go into, commingling needs, whether it be public safety, roads, and so forth. However, I'm not saying that it's an impossible hill to climb by any means. But what typically as we begin these discussions, and I think it's been 4 or 5 years since we did that initial survey with you, and I know you've attempted, to get things passed over the years, and some of the smaller communities such as Cortez Fire and Mancus, have had success in passing some things in their communities. Now, countywide, and a lot of our work with counties, and we deal with this with larger counties as well as medium and smaller counties. Counties can always be a tougher sell. And again, I don't mean to digress all over the place, and Courtney, feel free to chime in. That, what services does the county provide versus their local government? And in addition, telling that story about, hey, here's where we are. Here's the valuable services that we provide, such as your mental health, such as health and human services, roads, public safety, and so forth. For the county of Montezuma, kind of beginning to have that discussion again, but also perhaps doing it in a manner that's a little bit more thorough. I mean, as we know, like the Cortez Fire, district, they did not get it done in 2024. There was a lot of drama on the board and other things. But they really, I think, did a phenomenal job of engaging a very conservative community to be able to raise dollars, because fire districts, as you know now, can ask for certain needs and so forth. But they had a much more successful effort and got it done in an odd year. And I'm not trying to jump all over the place here, but I think where we should begin and then apply, our knowledge to this in the sense of what do you think the amount of money you need to either shore up your existing general fund revenue, and what amount of money would that take, do you think? And then us perhaps going in the field and doing a survey to educate and inform county residents of, likely deficits, the cost of providing services right now, and potential ways of covering that. And I think, that's where we should begin, having a broad idea and presenting those options to the community, and at the same time, really talking about, information and your residents being informed is incredibly important. The more they understand, what the needs are, and knowing, and I assuming that, as, commissioners and so forth, people trust the information you're providing them to try to arrive at a better outcome than we did in years past. So I'll stop right there. Courtney, feel free to chime in, as we sort of talk through this, and if there's anything that I perhaps overlooked.
Nope, I think that's a good place to start, Dave. So I'm curious to know your all's thoughts and go from there.
So I'll go ahead and go, David and Courtney. So in, I think it was 1998, 99, our comprehensive plan came out and was approved. These gentlemen probably have more working knowledge to my left and my right than I do, but I've read it several times. We did go for PSST last year. It failed, and we were asking for 1%. I still revert back to the 1990s version of the comp plan. The only difference is it still says 1%. I'm not 100% sure that would do it right now, but it's split between two categories. It's split between SO and Road and Bridge, which obviously are two of the largest departments we have within the county. As a matter of fact, they are the largest two, specifically here in Montezuma County and probably everywhere. So I think 1% would be a great advantage to the county. I'm not 100% sure that it would cover all of the needs, because those are the two quickest. I mean, we've been doing a lot with Road and Bridge here lately, and just walking around looking at equipment and needs that are out there. That stuff doesn't cost 10 or 20 grand per unit.
No.
And even with the SO, with the upfitting that we have to do for their units, and they go through those a lot quicker. obviously just because of the miles that they're running. So in my opinion, from me, I would say a minimum of 1%, and I would say it would be split 50-50 between Road and Bridge and SO, which is still going to go into the general fund because the SO is funded out of the general fund. So, I mean, how do you, those dollars would be specific, but it still has to go into the general fund. I guess that's my statement.
And Jim, I would just say we've seen that scenario many a time where, yes, even though technically the dollars must go into the general fund, that they are earmarked, and obviously we make that very clear. You know what I mean, to respondents, so they know that, you know, that was passed. Those funds directly can only go to those needs, and therefore they are not going to be freed up for some need or service that you know, your residents, you know, something that they may or may not want. Because that's always the biggest apprehension. But again, that makes perfect sense. And I appreciate on the 1%, you know, where you're thinking of kind of picking up what you read in the past. But that with, you know, even back at the napkin audits, the cost of what you think you may need. Because ideally, you know, the best approach is for us to present the needs to the voters. We're not going to ever give the impression you're fishing around for a number. Like, we need to be honest and transparent in today's costs of providing services and so forth. And it's okay to say perhaps some little wiggle room here of 10% or however. The bottom line is that these are real dollars that we would need to maintain an adequate level of services. And we would like to go down every department within reason, you know what I mean, without fudge factors, so that people truly understand. And we did this with, you know, Arapahoe County and some other counties, and Larimer County. We're going through that with them right now as they try to do a similar exercise, create a different need, different situation. But that makes sense, Jim, 100%.
Do you guys have anything else to add?
No, not right now.
And again, that I'm going back to a 27-year-old comp plan and extracting the data out of there that they had. So it's pretty antiquated as far as the number, but I still think it's a good starting point. We did put together the numbers previously, which I think, you know, the best that we could do a back of a napkin was about 8 million. Which would help considerably for the needs, because right now we're doing the upgrades that we can as we can get them, but when you really look around, there are many needs, but the average person has got to be able to understand that.
Absolutely. And we have done that where, you know, look, we do want to give them examples and locations of needs and things and so forth, and tell them what it costs. You know, and very rarely do we find a completely, you know, out of touch community. You know what I mean? Most folks today, especially in communities similar makeups of Montezuma, understand the needs and the cost of those needs. And so it's really a matter about bringing them into the discussion and letting them know, like, here's where we are, especially when it comes to, you know, road and bridge projects, of what you're going to address and when and so forth. That's a totally other discussion to have other than today, but it's important that they know. And in addition to that, we're trying to build, you know, a favorability and a confidence impression that you guys are like, hey, because most of your voters are going to appreciate, thanks for bringing us up to speed. I don't question these numbers. Stuff's expensive. You're always going to have that 20%, as you know, perhaps in Montezuma maybe a little bit high, where people are like, there's plenty of money in the budget, you guys just don't spend it. Yeah. We all know that's part of the equation in every community. But that, you know, we begin 26 by really having that kind of community engagement. And it's like, here's our laundry list of needs. Here's our current revenue stream. Here's the ways we can address these in paying for them. And here's where we may need some taxpayer assistance. And this is what perhaps that would cost you and what you would get in return. So that, you know, all the best practices of transparency, being honest and providing, factual information, that's the best environment to set up as we head into 26.
Okay, Travis, do you have anything else to add?
Not right now, Commissioner. I think we just need to look at what the actual financial needs are with actual data. Last time it was about $8 million, but again, costs are going up. So, 1% might work, but it might be 1.5 or it might be 2 based upon the.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. At the minimum, it would be 1%, David, but
Yep.
in reality, it could be more than that right now, because I don't think anything has went down out there as far as cost, except for maybe engineering or something like that. Maybe that went down, but.
Sure. No, absolutely. And, let's figure that out. Now, do you still have a need, if you bring me up to speed on how you're, I know you don't have a sales tax at all, right? That's still accurate?
Correct, we have none.
Right. So again, and I know when we, explored this back in the day, I think in 21, 1% even, may sound like a lot, but at the end of the day, do you still have your property tax shortfall coming up with and again, I always consider it Hunter Douglas, and it's not. What is your major employer there or provider that provides such a great chunk of your property tax revenue commercial?
Kinder Morgan.
Yes, Kinder Morgan.
Yeah.
Where, and again, I don't mean to bring up that, but is what's the status of Kinder Morgan's revenue in it? Because I know 4 years ago that was a big concern where they were going to be winding down operations, and it looked like it was going to be a drop in revenue from them. And that, are they still like looking 5 years out? Like you're okay with them, or just what's the status with their revenue?
So I can say that I didn't talk to Kinder Morgan at all last year, and I don't know if you two gentlemen did. Obviously haven't, but I can tell you that in Dolores County, right across the line from our county, Air Products was just closed down at the end of 2025 in Dolores County, which is going to be another significant hit for Dolores County, which they all are kind of tied together. So that revenue continues to diminish, and it's a finite resource. The resource will disappear at some point in time.
Sure.
And I know that.
And is it, Jim,
We
like,
don't
is it
look ahead.
5% of your commercial revenue, more or less? Is it 20%? I'm just curious,
34% of the commercial revenue.
Okay.
But oil and gas total,
Yeah.
not just Kinder, oil and gas total, I want to say, was right at 56 or 57%. And I could be off 1 or 2% on that, David, but
Yep.
even just the 34% is a huge amount. If that kind of funding revenue goes away, we're shutting,
Yep.
34%. I go look at every department and say, cut 34%. What are you going to do?
Yep.
Not going to happen.
Yep.
So we are looking to the future.
Yep.
We are operating today, but it's going to come. A finite resource will disappear eventually.
Especially with the position from the state now on natural gas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We understand loud and clear. And I wanted to ask that because I'm not trying to cry wolf here, but that's very relevant, obviously, information to have this discussion with your communities, where, whether it's, I just didn't know if it was more prevalent and an immediate, definite situation, or if it's one of those things where we know it's, like you mentioned, it will eventually, slowly go away over time or not. But I just wanted to get an update on your opinions regarding that, as much as you know about it and what your anticipation is. Because believe me, we're not in the business of saying, Sometimes that's the situation. Like we've seen this up in Moffett County over the years, with school district work there and so forth, where, it looks like their power plant up there now may still be on legs or whatever, but it was very much the purpose also and the necessity of considering future revenue for the county to provide services. One of the biggest drivers of that was factually, like we know we're going to lose X percent of commercial revenue. That equates to X 1 point whatever million or however you want to say it. And it's like that's there. And when that happens, we have no choice but to either consider, 5-10% service cuts across every department in need, and you're just being honest with your residents and communities about what you're facing without trying to cry wolf, you know what I mean? Even though, like I mentioned. So just wanted to see what that was because I remember that was a big concern 4 or 5 years ago.
And again, we're not, I don't think we are not wanting to try and cry wolf. We're just wanting to put the information, the data out there. The other thing too is that we are a pretty large community of recreation, and what I can't seem to get the point across is that the recreational users are using all of the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it happens on a daily basis. They need to bear some of the burden instead of just the property owners that are paying the burden of everything.
Yep.
And again, that is the largest component. And the other thing here is our federal lands and a tribe.
Yep.
That we get very little tax revenue off of.
Yeah.
So when we have 73% of that, 27% is what's paying the bill to fund everything in this county, and it makes it somewhat difficult, and we need to spread that out so that everybody is participating in their fair share.
100%. No, I remember that as well, and I also remember, Jim, I remember where a lot of your community seemed to be dismissing that years ago, and it's like, look, this is not coming out of necessarily your pocket, like your guest visitors and economic drivers, and let's shine a stronger light on that. You know what I mean? And again, anticipating on that and really driving that home and making it part of the discussion and being able to, we've seen this a lot of ways because, sales tax revenue, how much is it reported and all of that, to come up with a truthful number to be like, yes, you are going to be contributing, whether you're considering exempting groceries, you know what I mean, and typical things around that, so that it's not hitting the average family, and it's really being paid by, the visitors. We see a lot of that sometimes where it's like, well, what is the true percentage of that sales tax, what it would be being paid by, recreation, and sometimes it can be difficult to come up with a truthful number, but again, we're still want to bring it up because it's part of the discussion.
Yep. So again, that's my 2 cents. The 1%, and at this point in time, I'd like to see it split 50-50, and within the two biggest departments that we have, R&B and SO.
Sounds good.
And that goes back strictly to the comp plan that was approved and voted on. I want to say it was in 98, but that's the most current document that I can find that had any recommendations with the data behind it.
Yep.
The plan was approved in 97.
97?
Yeah, January of 97.
So,
But then the regulations were written later.
yeah.
Well, why don't, for next steps, do you want to, and let me ask, from formalities, would you like us to put together a proposal and get that to you for the cost of a survey, some ballpark community engagement, you know what I mean, and sort of the whole sort of package? Or would you, go ahead.
We'd have to have something put together as far as dollars and cents, just because it's spending public money. We'd have to have it in front of the public.
Of course. I can, why don't I get going on that proposal? I'll have it to you no later by the end of the week. And have all the information in there on, because in this step, in this process, it always begins with doing a survey, and again, our timeline on that, that'll all be in there. I mean, I really believe we're fine, depending on how quickly we can get, numbers and information that we want to include in the survey to present, but let's just start with the survey research because that's going to drive everything strategy and size and scope of community engagement, public alignment and all of that. And we can go from there. And in the meantime, once it's, if you approve it and you're okay, we can have discussions around that. Then we can, and if you move forward with us, we can have that conversation about, all right, what's the story we really want to tell and present to your communities, and knowing that you're going to need some time, and staff's probably going to need some time to come up with some numbers to hang your hat on. Does that make sense? And does that sound good?
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No, this is where it all begins, and we, as always, appreciate you reaching out to us and us trying to help you make our best effort here and help you, get the job done here, because we've been thinking about it for 5 years, and we would love to see you guys shore some things up so you're in good hands, revenue-wise moving forward. So, okay. Any other questions for us or the rest of our team here?
Not at this time.
Not at this time. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah. You guys have an awesome Monday and Happy New Year. And we look forward to getting in touch and back with you very soon.
Yep. Happy New Year, all.
All right.
Happy New Year.
See you
Nice
soon.
meeting you.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Moving on. We were supposed to have a discussion with the sheriff regarding some social media posts regarding the 2026 budget, but the sheriff's not here, so we will move on. Discussion related to work agreement for general materials testing. Ty, you want to come on up?
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Is this thing working, Travis? I got the light on. All right. Okay. About there. Sound good? Okay. So, what I got in front of you is a general service agreement. So, just a little background on this. We surveyed some of the pits to get a quantity of material. A topographic survey gives you a volumetric quantity, and some of the contracts, it sounds like that you have with the Forest Service, requires a tonnage, a weight instead of a volume.
Right.
So discussions kind of led down, we need to get a unit weight, something documented to show compliance with that contract. So this general service agreement, I mean, we could set up a contract just to run a couple unit weights. I think unit weights are like $170 per test. But I thought this might give us a little more flexibility for other things that you might need to come up. So that's where this idea came from. If we're doing the paperwork, doing the contract, a little more flexibility if you need anything else in the future. So this is, I think we proposed $8,000 2-year term. So we would not exceed that amount. And basically how it would work is we would have this GSA to work under, and whoever's authorized, whether that's Travis or Road and Bridge, could send us a request. We send you back a cost for whatever you need, and then it just goes through a simple work order instead of setting up a whole new agreement for something simple. So I don't think this wouldn't be useful for something bigger, project specific, like the Road 25 deal, maybe, but probably not the best fit. This would just be for miscellaneous materials testing. If there was something like the fairground parking lot project, if there was concerns there, you wanted us just to run out and run one density, something like that could fall under this. Same with Heath gave us a couple samples just to run a classification on for potential use in that Road 25. Same with that, it could run under this contract without having to do paperwork for every little $180, $200 test. So that's the idea, but we're also flexible, whatever, I mean, is gonna work best for you guys, not too concerned about it.
Questions, comments? This is just a not. Sorry, this is just a not to exceed $8,000 in 2-year period of time.
Yeah.
Whether it's density testing, material testing, whatever, small miscellaneous item. Which we do have small miscellaneous items. I mean, as I was reviewing this contract here that we have, which you're doing the density test, I mean, that was one of the criteria within this contract that I was reading that I don't think we have done to this point in time, which we're working on that right now to make sure that we're compliant with our contract. I mean, I don't, time to discuss it. Do you guys want to
Or any
consider
questions,
it,
I guess.
or-
I mean, and we can reduce, if 8,000's a little high, we can reduce it, you know. It basically stays open for 2 years or until that money's gone. I don't think you'll need $8,000 by any means. Just kind of, we usually try to stay between 5 and 10, and 8 was kind of in the middle, so.
Concerns, Travis? Okay.
No.
Okay. So this could be for anything.
This is.
Minor.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
specific to materials.
Right,
Yep.
Okay.
right.
And we have a lab in Monticello for those types of tests, and then our density tests and insight tests are just done hourly.
So all of the density testing is here locally then?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, Monticello, but if
Well.
you can get it to my office,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no extra.
Monticello is
Yeah.
kind of local,
Yeah.
60 miles
Pretty
away.
close.
It's not very far away.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Ty.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. I just had another quick question. I visited with Heath a little bit and Travis about the pavement condition
Mhm.
assessment that we gave you some budget numbers on. I guess I'm curious, are you looking to do an assessment on all the roads, including gravel, or just the hard surface?
So just basically the hard surface. The gravel, we can kind of assess ourselves because, I mean, if it's gravel, I mean, it's not that, it's still relevant, but I think we can take care of all of the gravel ourselves. Really just the hard surfaces, the chip seal, the asphalt, and then the conditions, and then the next step as far as moving forward of what do we need to chip seal next, or what needs to be, you know, is it a 15-year lifespan or a
Sure.
20-year lifespan? What do we need to be focused on to replace? That way it helps us budgeting.
Okay. Yep.
Because without it, I mean, it makes it a little bit tougher. I mean, this year we budgeted for another 14 and a half miles of chip seal, and that pretty much gives us a one-layer chip seal over all of the asphalt that we had done, I think 5 years ago-ish. So we're trying to protect it to get the longevity out of it that we can,
Yep.
because the replacement costs then become absorbent. But we have good roads, we want to try and maintain them and make sure that they are. So as far as the RFP, it would be just to do the hard surfaces specifically, and then
Maintenance
we'll
plan.
start working with our road and bridge department, getting more traffic counts to see then what is the next major thoroughfares that we need to start considering for a hard surface.
Sure. Okay, sounds good. I think that aligns with the cost that we gave you, the budget cost. So I just wanted to double check that, I guess, that we were,
Okay.
yeah, we're planning on all surface roads and then maintenance plans.
Mhm.
And then we usually put together a budget, a 10-year budget.
Yep.
Unless the costs are really high, and then we can go a little more, but you go more than that and you start overlapping a little too
Sure.
much. So, sounds great.
Yeah, and did we miss anything? I think really just the hard surfaces are really
Yeah,
what
just the hard
we're
surface.
looking at right now.
Yeah.
So that they don't turn back into gravel.
Right, yeah. Oh, that sounds great. All right, thank you guys.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ty.
All right, Road and Bridge update.
Morning, guys.
down.
So I brought a schedule for you guys. Sorry it's so small. I'm still figuring all this out. I'll
We
make
can-
a better, bigger one next time.
We can squint.
Most of our guys are trimming trees, you know, cutting brush, a lot of that. There is a few guys that are doing some drainage work here and there, you know, as the weather permits. I'm sure they're probably not today with it raining, but, you know, it's just how it goes this time of year.
Yeah.
The guardrail down McCalmo that we had, they're supposed to start on that this week. We had another chunk hit last week. They're supposed to assess it and hopefully have they thought they would probably have the parts in and do it all in one whack, so we didn't have another mob charge to go down and do it. So that's
Is it down?
what's happening.
Is it down McElmo too?
Same spot.
Same spot, just up the road, just a little bit.
Yeah, my question was, I did read the email, and my only question that I asked was, did we have a report so that we have an insurance company so that we can actually bill for the damage?
There was a report.
Okay.
State Patrol was down there, so there is a report attached to that
Yeah.
as soon as we can get it.
And, yeah, fix it all at one time while
Right.
we're down there.
Right.
Even if we get reimbursed later, it makes sense to get it all fixed, because otherwise I think it's
It's
just gonna
necessary.
continue to go.
Right,
And
right.
it's a necessary
right.
replacement, so. Perfect.
That's about all I got, guys. We're just moving forward.
Okay,
Okay,
Any questions?
good.
How's it going for you? All right?
Good, good,
Okay.
good. Just working
All
forward.
Good.
well, I'm sure you'll see more of us, or out and about and looking at it, and, remember, we're here to help you, and, we'll just keep moving forward.
Yep, no problems.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Heath.
Thank you, Heath.
Next, Keith.
Trent, we're looking at a traffic safety mini grant proposal.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Mr. Anderson. Yeah, this is an opportunity to apply for a mini grant. The funds are sourced are from CDOT. They're administered by Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Asking for just under $10,000, which is the maximum I can do underneath their grant structure. And I'm looking specifically to target child passenger safety, building on what we're already doing in public health to address that. And this would just give us a little more resource over the next, really, from project award in February through the end of September of this year. It would allow us to buy about 20 car seats, train some new techs, have some events, and make our staff well available to pay for our hourly indirect for some of our staff during that time period.
Okay. How has it been going in the past? I mean, as far as car seats and safety, I mean, I know everybody should be having their kids in car seats, or I think it's below 50 pounds or something, but.
Yeah, I mean,
is
Colorado
it-
state law has its specifics on what is expected, on what's legal, and so we really try to educate to that plus the best practices, which is really to maximize the performance of all the child passenger safety technology in the vehicles or the seats themselves, and to ensure that all caregivers can adequately use their equipment. And then we're also trying to make sure that all families have at least one primary seat for their child. Like, we don't do extra seats,
Right.
but we want to make sure each family can access one safe restraint for their child.
Okay.
Historically, we've had some donations and grant funding. I've worked on some donations over the last year. We haven't seen that come in at the level that we'd like to. But I think it's just reflective of the difficult economy and in uncertainty. But we did get some donations, which was nice.
Okay.
And we'll kind of continue that effort and kind of build on that, those relationships that we're building, especially trying to get education in areas of our community where people are either sourcing the seats or purchasing vehicles. Dealerships have agreed to, some of them have agreed to help display some of the information that we'd like to build underneath this grant. so that people can make sure like they're purchasing a vehicle or having something that they can understand its technology, but also that they know how to ensure their car seat is adequately installed in that vehicle, and they can reach out to us for that education opportunity.
Okay.
This might be totally off subject, but used car seats, there's a lot of used car seats out there. Can you reuse those if they're up to
Yeah,
certification?
how with Colorado State Patrol and in all kind of the federal programs around car seats is the idea is if you don't know 100% of that seat's history, you can't certify it for safety.
Okay.
So I do collect used seats as I inspect seats and do visits. If I find one that doesn't meet a safety requirement and has a concern, we'll retire that seat. I coordinate with State Patrol out of their Durango office to get those recycled and to get them out of circulation. There is a lot of secondhand seat use. I find most of them that I come across in this community are expired, damaged, in ill repair, or they don't have a full known history. So a lot of those we do end up having to retire.
Sure.
That's a great question. A lot of them are trying to be circulated on Facebook marketplaces. A lot of them come from garage sales. A lot of them are hand-me-downs. And as long as they're hand-me-down and they can say, yeah, I got it from my sister, it's never been in an accident, because that's one of the significant factors of retiring a seat. If it's been in an accident, it should be retired, especially if like the vehicle was like towed away. So,
Yeah, you don't really want a seat out of a wrecked vehicle.
yeah.
Okay. I don't have any questions, for sure.
Thank you.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
Trent.
Commissioners. Mr. Anderson.
All right, and our last bullet point for our workshop today is for the appointments of the Southwest Water Conservation District Board. Right now, Commissioner Koppenhafer is our representative, but you expire right now, correct? Or have expired?
He's still up, right?
Or you, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't. Your
His term expired.
term expired, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
And this is for, don't we have 2 appointments?
it's for 3 years.
Okay,
It's for a 3-year term.
so then this would put you back in for the next 3 years? Okay,
We'll do
All
that
right.
tomorrow, huh?
yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, unless you're just adamantly
Yeah, I have
opposed.
to fill out those. Do you have a copy of those?
Yeah, gotta swear and everything.
You have to take an oath for office and all that stuff. And we have to send them that you guys appointed me,
Yep, okay.
I guess, if that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know, if I expire before tomorrow.
No. Your term expired, I apologize. Okay, anything else? All right, well then we have come to the end of our agenda. Our workshop is closed, but just a FYI for everybody, we will be traveling this afternoon for a 5x5 commissioner meeting in Archuleta County. That will be with Dolores, Montezuma, La Plata, Archuleta, and San Juan and San Miguel might be there, so it could be 6x6 this afternoon. Hope to return late this evening. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.